Hi, what you're looking at is a NuTone entry door station. This happens to be a NuTone IS69 PB. PB was for polished brass, which is what this used to be. The IS69s originally came out in 1986, and they were in production all the way through about the end of 2010. And it was the very first fully metal entry door station that NuTone ever made, and it was also probably one of the most popular styles for entry door stations that NuTone ever came up with. The problem with any kind of outdoor intercom equipment is it's outside. It has a really hard life. It's outside in the sun and the wind and the rain and the snow and whatever other kind of weather there is outside. And after 15, 20 years or so, your shiny polished brass door speaker, which was really swell looking when it was brand new, ends up looking something like this. The finish starts to fail and you get this pitting and discoloration and all of that. You know what it's like. It's like the exterior lights on the outside of your house. They look really great when they're brand new and you come home from the home center with them, but after 5 years they're looking pretty lousy. So why is that? Well, it's because the clear finish over the polished brass coating begins to fail. It breaks down outside in the weather and from the sunlight, and then moisture gets underneath it, which makes it fail even quicker. Then it starts to sort of eat away at the brass finish underneath, and pretty soon the whole thing's gone to hell and it looks really bad. While these were available, replacement door stations were always a very popular item. The other thing about door stations in particular is it's on the front of your house. It's next to the front door. It's the thing that people and visitors see when they walk up to your front door, and nobody likes the front porch of their house to look shabby. You want it to look nice. After this design, NuTone came out with the NDB series, which were somewhat smaller. They're not actually NuTone, they're actually rebranded music and sound entry door stations, and they have adapter frames. And that was okay. I didn't really care for the styling all that much, but most people thought it was okay, especially if you had something that looked like this on your front porch and you can get a nice, clean, shiny, brand new one. So they were very popular. About a year ago, NuTone discontinued the NM series of intercom systems, and there are no NuTone intercom systems at this moment, so there are no more entry door stations. When we found out about that they were discontinuing them, we actually bought up many hundreds of those. As time goes on, they get used up, and eventually there won't be any more brand new entry door stations, and that creates a problem for people because you need some type of solution to do something about that. A while ago, I had this really great idea, and I started saving old, ugly, discolored door stations. And everybody's like, why are you saving those? And I said, you'll find out. So today we're going to start finding out why. People need entry door stations, and the IS69s are probably the most popular entry door station that NuTone ever made. And it's a nice style, it's a good size, it has a nice design to it, it's well made and sturdy, but they get ugly. So what we're going to do here is, because we have no free time, but we need another project, I guess. So our new project is, we're going to look into and see what it would take to rejuvenate and refinish original NuTone IS69 entry door stations. And this is going to be our first test case. Let's take a look at the anatomy of an IS69 entry door station and talk about what we're going to do with it. Now this particular one, I've already removed the push button which goes in the hole right here, and I've removed the speaker cone off the back of it. We have push buttons, that's easy, and any of you who have watched any of our videos probably know that we had door speaker cones remanufactured last year, and so we're probably the only people on the planet that have brand new entry door station speaker cones. If you need one, get a hold of us. We'll sell you one. So let's look at what it is. It has basically three parts. You have this insert panel down here, which, yes, this used to be polished brass just like the rest of it, but it's kind of faded out, and this comes off. All the pieces that come off are held on to the base assembly with some kind of somewhat thick and possibly heavy-duty industrial type double tape. Actually, this panel, based on what it looks like on the back, it looks like it might have been some kind of adhesive and it was glued into the recessed panel here. So we have this piece, that's part number one. Part number two is the grill in the center, and we can pop this off from the back. Sometimes a common problem with these is the adhesive strips that hold this onto the base assembly will fail, and then this will fall out in your yard and get lost, and that's a problem. But you can see on the back you have this black, this is some kind of heavy duty, fairly thick, double-sided adhesive tape kind of product, which we'll have to investigate as to what that is and also how to remove it from the back of the middle grill. It's cut out in a fairly specific shape. It goes around the border. It's got this sort of arch at the top and the one strip down the middle, so it fits onto all of the recessed solid parts to hold it in place, so it has maximum adhesion to it. And this, once we figure out what the material is, coming up with this shape won't be that difficult to do, because nowadays you actually can have metal dies made that you can put through a die cutting machine, which is not expensive at all. It's the kind of thing that's used in paper crafts a lot, and you can actually cut out the adhesive in the shape that you need, and you can have the die made. They're around 20 bucks or so for something this size, so it's not a lot of money if you're going to make it over and over again. So once we put the grill aside, what we have left is the metal base, and the metal base is one solid piece, and on the back it has this flange here, right here. And I think the purpose of the flange most likely was for two things. One, it made it more rigid perhaps, so when you screwed it to the wall it didn't warp the cover. And or maybe it was also like a weather shield, because the speaker cone sits down here underneath it, so if it leaked at all it would sort of shed the water away from the speaker cone. I'm not sure which is the most important, but that seems to be the way it was designed. It's a good design. These are very sturdy and rugged. These are made out of a material called Zymac, and Zymac is a zinc magnesium alloy that's used in a lot of kinds of castings, which is what this is. It's kind of, I think it's kind of like injection molding for plastic, only it's the zinc magnesium alloy instead, or something. I'm not a expert in that, not yet, because I will become one probably. And there's lots of different kinds of Zymac that are made, different formulas for different purposes, and it's a very popular. Zymac's been around since the early 70s, I think. It's very popular in all kinds of castings. It's used in a lot of car parts and things like that because it's easy to work with, it's moderately priced, and certain types of it give good fine detail in the casting. Of course, that has a lot to do with the mold that's made for it also. But we're not going to be having new ones made. What we're going to do is we're going to see if we can rejuvenate what we have here. And it's interesting because you can see on the parts that were covered up, the finish is not original. It's darkened from the adhesive and aged most likely, but it's nice and smooth, so you get some idea of what the finish was like before it was put outside in the weather. So what are we going to do with this? Well, I'm going to take, this is going to be our sample one. This is the one we're going to play with and see what we can do. I'm going to take this to a local company that does glass bead blasting, and I'm going to talk to them about if they can bead blast the exterior parts of this and remove the finish that's on it and get it back down to the original Zymac casting, because that's what it would have started off on before any finishing that was done on it. Once it's down to the original finish, then we have some choices on what we can do with it. You could, of course, have it replated back to its original polished brass finish and then do some kind of coating over it to protect it. You could always do the original. It probably has some type of lacquer coating or something like that on it, which is kind of old school. There are companies nowadays that do what's called plasma coating. Plasma coating is really popular in a lot of plumbing, like kitchen fixtures, kitchen faucets and things that are brass, and supposedly they're tarnish free and will last a lifetime and all that kind of stuff. But the reality in today's world is polished brass is not really the finish of choice any longer. The most popular door speaker finishes, I would say in the last 10 years, have always been white is first, and then the next most asked for finish, which we never actually had, would be some type of oil rub bronze kind of look. So there's a lot of color choices. but we don't want to get too heavily into like sending things out. The rule around here pretty much is if we can learn the skills to do it ourselves and do as much of it in-house as possible, it makes it more reasonable, because also we're not looking to do 100,000 door speaker refinishes. We're looking at having some type of program where we have a certain number of them available, and then they would be available on an exchange basis. So you send me the one that looks like this, and I send you a refurbished one, and that way we maintain a supply and we can do them in small quantities for people who are interested. So once we get the bead blasting done, if that's a possibility, because I haven't taken it there, and of course the guy says, well, I got to see it first. So, and that's fair because he doesn't know what I'm talking about. If we can get it back down to the original casting finish, then we're going to look at what it takes to have it painted, because I think painting is the way to go. And when we talk about painting, we're not talking about running down to Home Depot and buying a spray can. We're going to have it professionally painted, and most likely we're going to use some type of automotive paint, because automotive paint is designed to be outside. You know, people park their cars outside all the time, and if you do a proper primer coat on it, and then you do a color coat, and then you do some kind of automotive clear coat over it, I would suspect it should last for a long time. Also, the other advantage of going with automotive paint is there's like a zillion colors. You know, how many different colors of cars are there nowadays? I know that when you drive down the street, all you see are silver, white, and black, but there's lots of other colors that were made over the years, and there's lots of different kinds of finishes that you can pick from. And what we'll probably settle on for this particular one is something that comes close to an oil rub bronze, because that's kind of the finish that people ask for a lot. It's very popular nowadays, and you might as well do something that people will think is popular as opposed to something that people would hate, like lime green, which I don't think you could give away if it was free. So on the color choice thing, there's a chance for all of you who watch this to chime in and leave a comment down below. Tell me what color choice you would want if it was for your house, because that's our marketing research. The YouTube viewers get to decide what color should we have door speakers in, because we do have to sort of standardize on them. You can't have 100 different finishes available. That would be too complicated. We need to settle on 2, 3, or 4 probably. So this is part 1 of an ongoing series about the life of this little NuTone IS69 door station. We're not going to call it an IS69 PB anymore, because pretty soon its PB coating is going to get removed, and it's just going to be a little naked IS69. And we'll see what that looks like. And when I go to the bead blaster guy and I talk to him, if I can get him to agree to do it, which I'm pretty sure I can, I'll do a little short video of him bead blasting it so you can see how that goes, and then we'll get to see what it looks like when it's all done. I hope you found this interesting and helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube, because that always helps. There'll be a banner right here that shows you how to subscribe. Go to our YouTube homepage, click on the bell or on the wheel, put in your email address, and every time we post a new video, you'll get a notification and you can watch it. That's all for today. See you on the next video.